Hello friends, welcome back. This is Angular Developer Series. We're building e-commerce web application. This is episode 9. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how we can build dynamic shopping cart with real-time update. So we'll be using RxJS operators to achieve this real-time update. It'll be interesting, and without delay, come let's get started. Let's take a look at the demo, right? So this is the shopping page. You see this when you have all of these products. When you go to shopping cart, there's no shopping items, right? The moment you add something to the cart, you can see the updates coming up to the right side, and I can keep adding few items to my cart. It's showing which product I'm getting added, and even if I click a couple of times, let's see what happens to the cart. See, all of those items that I added, it's in the cart. Even if 2 times I add, the number counts to 2. And all of these totals are summed up, and you can see the final total here, right? If I delete, it goes away. And not only that, if you look at here, this number gets updated automatically based on number of items in the cart. You see this, it got updated to 4. So how these things are getting updated dynamically, how we are going to build a good shopping cart features, that is what we are going to see in this video. It will be interesting, and all of the code will be new. So let's put our hands on the deck. So what we are going to do is we are going to go out to our the template that we already have. If you go to the shopping cart.html, this is the piece of code that we want to take it from this code, right? So it has all of those site navigation. Let's not need all of those things. So I'm going to take only the top banner and going to copy paste here. Okay, the banner which will come with an image. Let's take a look what you're doing. Okay, so here the only thing that I've added is the background image URL. It used to be in the HTML itself, but we have to bring this to this one and then dynamically put it there so that the image comes properly. Okay, so we can set the style.background image by this. Okay, so if with this piece of code, right, the only thing that I have is the router added. Like if you click on it, it goes to the home. So let's see what it is. See, the image came, and you click on this home, it will go to the home. That's it. That's the only piece I have added. Okay, now next thing is the shopping cart. Like basically it is a table HTML element, and all what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy paste that piece of code from the template. So where is that? If you go to webmaster and go to the shopping cart, right, if you narrow down to that particular place where the table is present, you see this is the shopping cart section begins, right? So you copy this whole section just to you copy this whole section and paste it there, and that will give you a rough UI element. So I just simply copy pasted. You see this, some data came, right? All of this came. The image is not coming, that's okay, but we are trying to bring in to whatever we want. Now if you click on this item, it needs to be added and it needs to be served from here. In order to do that, let's add a new service called cart service. Okay, so under services, I'm adding cart.services.ts. A-services will bring up a snippet that is required for our service. See, the only thing, like I mentioned a couple of times, it should be an injectable and provided at the root, and I'm naming this at cart service. Okay, now we're going to use the local storage to store this information. So I'm going to create a variable called cart key, and the cart key is cart. Okay, it is a private so that this variable is not accessed from outside of the service, only within the service. Okay, now the first thing is I'm creating again a private method, which means the method is available only within the service. This function is available within the service. Okay, so it accepts a cart. Okay, like it accepts a list of product models. Okay, an array of product models, and returns nothing. All what it is doing is it is going to store that information in the local storage. Okay, local storage means it will save it in the browser. So local storage dot set item, you pass the key comma value. It's a key value path. The key is cart, which is taking from line number 6, and we are going to parse it to this JSON and save it as a data. That's it. Okay, local storage is these days supported by most of the browser, unless the user is like 15 years behind or 10 years behind. You may not have it, but it is likely not possible. So it will pretty much work for the local storage. Okay, now later we will call the API and save it in the in the database. For now, let's proceed with local storage. Next, I'm adding a function called get cart. Okay, that is going to return a list of like the array of product model. So in order to get it, we need to go and search with a particular key in the local storage. So line number 14 is basically local storage dot get item, pass the key, it will return the data. In line number 15, we're checking the data is valid, like it has some data, then we are parsing to JSON. If it doesn't have, we will assign a empty array, because by default initially, unless the user adds it, it will be an empty array, right? There won't be anything stored with that key. Now that's it. So this function is done. We have a save function, we have a get function. Okay, again, one more time I'm saying there are certain methods marked as private intentionally so that save cart, in this case save cart, is not accessible outside of this function. If somebody is injecting the service, if you don't provide this, if you don't mark a function as private, then it will be accessible. I don't want anyone to directly save into the save cart, because there is a logic that we will be doing on art cart. Okay, the next method we will be doing that logic. So add cart, add to cart, basically we will correct the naming later, but add cart is a function which will accept one product at a time, and it is going to return nothing, but it is eventually going to add these items into the storage, the local storage. Okay, so line number 21, if you remember, the products has the quantity is being defined from the database. So a product is like 100, 200, 500, we don't know, n number of products will be there. The same product, n number of quantity will be there. So first, when the user is trying to add an item to the cart, we will reset this quantity into 1, because one time they're using, user is adding, they are actually trying to add that item one time, like purchase one time, right? Unless they click this again. Okay, so that's why this logic is being set to 1. And then what we are going to do is, so we will try to retrieve the existing saved one. So this dot get cart should return an empty array or a product model array. Okay, if we have saved something, it will return. If not, it will be an empty array. Now here's the logic. Okay, basically we are finding if a particular product that the user is trying to add is already there in the cart. If the item is already there in the cart, that is what we're trying to find in line number 23. So cart.find, based on the product ID, we will try to find if it is there, which means next time if the same product comes into picture for addition, then we just increase the quantity by 1. We don't need to duplicate the product items. Okay, same product ID, more than once, we will increment the quantity. That's what the user is actually trying to do. Okay, keep adding into the cart of the same item. Basically he wants many item of the same product. That is what this logic is. Okay, so we can do this only by detecting the incoming product is already present in the cart that is saved in the local storage, and if we find it, we will increment its quantity by 1, not by just adding one more time. Okay, that's a simple logic that we are writing it. Now we will find if existing item is present, meaning if existing item is present, it will be a true. How do we know? If it returns undefined or null, the if condition will be false. Okay, but if it is present, we are just saying take the quantity, increment by 1. Okay, plus equal to 1 means increment by 1. If you're familiar with the previous backend language, C# or something, it's incremental operator. Okay, plus plus 1, 1 plus plus, like that. So plus equal to 1 is equivalent of adding one more item to that. Now if it is not present, what are we supposed to do? We will define a new item. Dot item means it's a spread operator. It's a TypeScript ECMAScript 6 feature. It's called spread operator. We are spreading all the properties of an item. Item is nothing but the product model, and then in that the quantity is the property. We are saying whatever value it is there, ignore it, make it as 1, and then we are pushing that item to cart.push, pushing that item. Now this piece of line is equivalent of what we wrote it in the first line. Okay, next we save it, this dot save, pass the product ID, and then we use this toaster service to nicely show a toaster message. That's it. Now I'm going to add two more methods. One is clear cart. Clear cart is to empty it. Remove cart is we find out all the products which is saved in the cart except the incoming product. So 1 2 3 4, if 4 is getting deleted, we just need 1 2 3. We take it, we show a nice message, and we resave the items, which means it will literally be removed. Okay, so all of these things have been happening locally. So for good, now the cart service has been somehow built. Now let's go to cart component and initiate this variable. Cart items of type product model of array initialized with the empty array. Okay, so then in the constructor we inject this cart service. Now we are going to make use of this. Okay, so first what we are doing is we are going to get all the items from the cart, like, which is nothing but the local storage. Okay, so for that we have added the service. So let's add another variable called total amount. Total amount is basically we go through everything, right? We have to store it here. We don't want any hard-coded number. Okay, for now it is 0. I will explain you when I build the method. Okay, so now what we are going to do is I'm going to add a simple function. Basically this function is going to call the get cart function from the get cart service, which means it will return an array of product model. It will go through every single product inside this model and calculate the total amount. So total amount is equal to total amount into total amount plus price for a given product. If the $10 is the price, into 4 quantity means 4 into 10, 40 plus the existing total. So the total amount will finally become the addition of all the amounts. Okay, that is what it is doing. Now let's implement the lifecycle hook of ng on init. And in ng on init we will call this one so that we get the data. Now we have the data. We have the data in the cart items. Okay, and from here in this point of time, if the user decides to remove a particular item from the cart, which we used to do in Amazon or any other website, it has to be removed. So we make a function of that. We will pass the product ID. We'll call the remove from cart function of the cart service, and then recalculate by recalling the get cart details. That's it. Now we have the data here. So for good, all what I'm going to do here is, if I scroll a little bit up, there will be a table. Header section is perfect, but under the body there will be a multiple tr tags, right? See, because it's a hard-coded value, I'm going to remove all of this stuff and we will place our template. This is exactly what we learned so far. Like, we are going to go through ng for of a cart item. Okay, if the cart item is like has nothing, then we show that message. If not, we go through and then we build the tag. This is what we have seen in video 4 and 5, right? So we are going to go through the products that we have. We show the image. We use this pipe symbol like currency to show the price. That is also what we have seen. We are using interpolation. We are using pipe. This is what we saw. Okay, for a given product, if the quantity is 4, we will there show it there itself. We will show the price. For example, if a product is been added 2 times, okay, and the cost of the product is $10, 2 into 10, 20. We will convert that and show us $20 over here, line number 58 and line number 60. The logic is that, so it's a calculation done on the UI itself. Okay, and similarly, when we click on X button, we call this remove item and remove the particular item. See, right now there is nothing here because our cart is empty. So let's go to the shop and see what happens if I click on that and add it. Okay, so the cart item is empty. Ideally we are supposed to see no items in the cart, but it's not coming because it's a valid empty array. So we will use the length element to figure out. Now you see length is 0, so it's a false. Not a false is true. That's why no items in cart has been displayed nicely. Okay, now what we will do is we will make use of adding an item. Okay, so far good. Now under down, right? So there's a hard coded value. You see this $45, like line number 94. There is a hard coded value. So we are going to remove that hard coded value. I'm increasing the font so it will be easy. See, I don't want any hard coded value, so we will replace the variable here. So I'm going to do an interpolation of total amount variable converting into currency. It's the same value for subtotal and total, so I'm using that. It's a one-way binding, right? Total amount is a variable. That's it. We use the pipe symbol to show that in currency. Right now it is $0. Perfect. So for good, this page looks good. Now how do we get an item here? If you go to shop, you hover on it and click on this cart item. That's when it has to add an item into the cart, which means let's go to product list first, and then we will inject the cart service in the constructor. So we will inject the cart service in the constructor. So private cart service colon cart service. The moment you add it, it added automatically the import. Now all what you're going to do is we will add a item here. See, add to cart. Okay, so add to cart is a method which will take the product and call the service to add the cart. Okay, so I'm correcting the name so that it will be same. So add to cart. Okay, like I discussed, right? We will be correcting the name. Okay, so we corrected the function name. So we need to call this add to cart from here. From where we will call? From the third item. That's the icon that shows as a cart. So here, so we will be using the event binding on this element. So when somebody clicks on that, I need to call a function and pass the product. Product is nothing but the one that is coming from the for. Okay, so when I click here, you see this, it called that function, and then this one started showing, right? So let me click a couple more items. Okay, the same items being shown. See, number got into 2. Right, that's the logic that we wrote. Now if I add couple more items, see, I'm adding different items. Let's go to shopping cart. Very nice, right? Everything started showing. UI is very perfect. The calculation is good. If I remove it from this page, the update of the amount is also happening. Okay, later in the video I will show you an Angular 17 and 16 feature called Angular 16 plus feature called Angular Signal. So we will implement that later, but for now you know it was perfect. Now there's something in the header. You see this in the header in the top. You need to show that value dynamically, right? So number of cart items needs to be shown. Right now it's hard coded into 3 or something, but we don't want, right? We want the real cart item to be shown on line number 71. So how do we do that? Now this is when it comes our RxJS operator, our rescue operator, right? Like that's the one that's going to save us. Now I'm going to explain a new operator. So let's go to cart service. Okay, there is something called behavioral subject and subject. Okay, that's a RxJS operator. So we're going to take a look at those operators now. So let's declare a variable which is private called cart subject. Okay, that's nothing but it's a type of new behavioral subject. Okay, I will give you details of what is behavioral subject and everything down. So basically we're initializing it's of type number and default value is 0. Okay, so we are first initializing a variable with that, and then we will make an observable. So cart dollar, it's just a convention that we used to follow, and it is of type observable of number, and that is coming from this cart subject. Okay, so we are saying cart subject is considered as an observable and assigning it to cart. Okay, so these two, once you understand this, I will give you more details shortly, but basically these two variables that we have defined. Okay, so let me paste the details here so it will be easy to understand. So let's go through one by one. So behavioral subject is nothing but it is a type of subject in RxJS. Okay, behavioral subject is a special type of subject that keeps the current value, and it also maintains a notion of the current value. So whenever the last value is emitted, it can be make use of it. Similarly, cart subject that we have, right, it's an instance of a behavioral subject, so which is also initialized with the 0 value, and then that's how the value is determined. Now the cart dollar that we made, right, this is observable, that is created for the cart subject using the observable method. So what will happen is whenever there is a change, we will notify the subscribers, whoever has subscribed for this notification. We will notify them with the latest emitted value. Okay, that is what we are going to do. So that's the explanation of these three things, like these two things, and we will see how it works, right? So we know about these behavioral subject and the observable. Okay, now we are saying whenever there's an item added, okay, we are saying this cart subject dot next and pass the number is nothing but the length of the cart item. So cart dot length will give you the number of items in the cart, and this is what gets notified. Okay, so it notifies to the user. We will see how to subscribe to this event, but we are notifying at this point of time. Okay, whenever the cart is added. Similarly, whenever it is removed also we have to notify, because something is getting removed, right? So which means you come here, and whenever it's added we notify, whenever they are trying to get also we notify. Okay, so for good, and then during removal also we have to notify. So it's the same code I copy pasted, so we are notifying in all the states. Now you need to subscribe to it. Okay, see, cart dollar is of type observable of number. Anything that is observable can be subscribed. Now I go to this header component, again inject the cart service here. Okay, now here I'm saying cart items dollar, this is of observable of number. Okay, I'm defining, like I'm defining this variable, and I'm saying this is an observable of number, which means it's asynchronously notified, and in the constructor we will inject the cart service now. Okay, the cart service is injected, and we have an observable of number, and that is a cart item. So basically cart items will be a number. Okay, now let's implement the lifecycle hook on init, which means it will bring up the ng on init. See, it brought up. Now here what do we do is we subscribe to this event. So this dot cart items, see, cart items, we are assigning some value to this cart item. So this dot cart service dot cart dollar, this is the observable of number, right? So we are saying put this into this, both are observable. We don't need to subscribe, basically both are observable. Even if you subscribe, you just need to modify the code, but both are same. Now here what we have to do is we need to show that cart items dollar that we have, right? We are putting it here. See, generally whatever you have seen so far is a subscribed one, which means it will evaluate and give you the number, but right now it is observable of number. There's a way to do this. If you put a pipe symbol and say async, you don't need to subscribe for any asynchronous observable. Automatically when the answer comes, like the data comes, it will get resolved. You see this, I click, I remove it, the numbers are getting updated. Let's go to shopping and let's keep updating. Just keep an eye on this, right? I added, became 1. I added one more, 2. I added the third item, 3, 4. See, the same thing, the number of cards that has been added is being displayed here. Okay, so that's the beauty of this. It should be 6. So 5, probably if I click this properly, yes, 6. So there are 6 unique cart items. That's why you see the numbers getting, and if I remove something, that's get updated instantly, right? That's the beauty of the RxJS operators. So we know how we have used all of these things, right? And then you click on this image, it should take you back to the product description, like the product detail page. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, like, share, and comment if you have any questions. So the whole source code is available, so you don't need to worry. The only thing that I'm doing right now is just adding the cursor. So basically anything that is a tag, okay, if the user is hovering on it, it will just show up as a mouse, like a clickable one. So it will be easy and looks nice for the user that, okay, I'm hovering on it, it's gonna get clicked. Okay, that's it. So that's the only thing that I'm doing, and all of the codes are available in the GitHub repository. I will give you everything in the description, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more tech tutorials. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Happy coding!